Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Yankee Auto Systems. In today's video, we're going to be working on our 2020 Ford Escape. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to be installing some crossbars. I bet you it's more simple than you think it is. Let's get started.
Before I get started on the project, I'm going to go ahead and back the car into the garage. It's going to keep me out of the elements, and it's going to be a lot easier for me to work on the crossbar installation. If you're new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from Yankee Does It. Also including Yankee Auto Systems, where we have our Legends car and other auto content, home remodeling with the Yankee Homeworks playlist, and other cool things under Yankee projects. Let's get started.
Alright, so now that we're in the garage, even though we have limited space, it still fits. It's not going to be any issues with that. We're going to go ahead and unbox our crossbars. Now, what I ended up purchasing for this was the Ford-specific crossbars, and that's for two very specific reasons. One, the tooling kit that they had for it was over $700. Why? I don't know. The guy that was talking to me at the parts counter was trying to explain that, oh, there's a whole bunch of different systems that you can add. You can add the cargo box, the bike rack, the kayak rack, and I just had to tell him, look, man, we shrunk crossbars. In the inevitability, we might have to put something up there. What else do you have? And he pointed me to the Ford product. The Ford product actually comes in a heck of a lot cheaper. You would think that it wouldn't, but it does. This whole kit cost me about $330. So that's about a $400, give or take, dollars saving right there. And I get to have Ford equipment parts on my Ford vehicle. So, fingers crossed, there's nothing that I should do to this that should hopefully void the warranty. But what we have is the Ford Luggage Rack Kit, part number Lima Juliet 6 Zebra -7855100 Alpha Alpha. Now, I've already taken a look through this kit, so it's not going to be like an unboxing. Oh my gosh, what you got in it? It's a very simple kit, and I'm glad that it's a very simple kit. Not that I don't think I could put on a roof bar, even if it was a little more difficult. What I'm saying here is I'm just glad that this kit is actually designed to go on relatively easily. There's not really any reason to have a very convoluted kit for crossbars on your car. So inside of the box, it does come with the two crossbars, front and rear. It does also come with this dual packet. It has some tabs that cover the adjuster screw on the end of the crossbars here. It also comes with a pictorial instruction booklet and a tool. It's really all you need. It's really awesome that this tool is in the kit, because a lot of stuff that you get, you have to have your own. Well, the bolts that go with this crossbar are already pre-installed to the crossbars. What I like about this kit already is that the tool is actually a beam style torque wrench. So you are only supposed to install these bolts at 8 Newton meters. So when you go to tighten this beam style wrench is going to go over to that pointer, and that's when you're going to stop. So I like that not only is it included in the kit, it is a beam style torque wrench, so you know when to stop and you know when you've gotten the appropriate torque value. Let's go ahead and get everything out of the box, lay it out, look at our instructions, and see exactly what we have to do to get this crossbar kit on our 2020 Ford Escape.
The Ford kit does come with everything that you should need for the installation of the crossbars to your 2020 Ford Escape. It includes front and rear crossbars, pictorial instructions, installation tool, and cover caps. The only thing the kit does not include is a tape measure. The tape measure will be used to determine the minimum installation distance on the crossbars.
What I've done first is familiarize myself with the instructions, which I also suggest you do. Lay everything out in an area that you know that you can work from easily, grab everything and have everything with you. But the first step that they do advise is to loosen the retention bolt that is in the crossbars. You can do that simply by pushing the retainer all the way up using your fingers or using the tool, because it does have two different ways that you can use it, the short side and the long side. The long side probably would be good to get in here if you couldn't use your finger. But you want to go ahead and loosen that carriage bolt, and I would suggest that you actually take the bolts all the way out and take a look at how everything is assembled together. The retention clip simply slides into the bracket on the crossbar, and then you install your bolt. There is a captive well nut on the inside of the retention clip, so you're not going to lose the nut. The reason why I'm suggesting that you take that off all the way is so that you can know that you have just a couple of threads engaged on the well nut. Now, you're not going to want to force this, you're just going to want to hold the retention clip to the top of the bar or side of the bar, however you want to look at that, and make sure that the bolt is inside of there. I do feel like that's in there a couple of threads, and just simply let go to make sure that it's not going to fall out. I would repeat this process for all 4 retention clips on the crossbars on both crossbars. Now, the next step is somewhat obvious, even if the instructions don't show it or tell you, but it is to install the crossbars. Now, I do have the carriage bolts just loosely installed and the retaining clips as far forward as possible. This job would be easier with 2 people, but I promise you can do it by yourself. Reach lightly over the entire vehicle. You can use the roof rail that's already installed to kind of brace yourself. Keep your body away from the main vehicle and make sure your step stool or ladder does not come in contact with the body of the vehicle. Using your second hand to brace yourself, you can just slide the crossbar across the top of the roof rails until everything engages on the other side. Now, it does look like there may need to be some further adjustment on this crossbar because everything is not out on this side. I'm going to have to look into the instructions and let you know what I find. So, with a little investigating, I have found out that there is a problem in the kit that I received from Ford. I'm not going to say that this happens in all the kits, but you do need to be aware of this and pay close attention when installing the crossbars onto the vehicle. The crossbars are stamped on their outer clamps with front and rear. I did make sure that as I grabbed the one that is stamped with the clamp as front and tried to put it on the front, it did not reach. There is an adjustment on one of the clamps, the one that has 1 screw in it. You can slide that out a little further. However, it did still not reach across the distance of my front of the Escape. I did kind of take a closer look at it, and I grabbed what is stamped as the rear crossbar with the clamp on it, and found that that is actually what is fitting my forward width. So I think what happened is the clamps were just installed on the wrong crossbars. So I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that, but it's not a big deal. It's something that I can fix, and if you have the appropriate tool, it's something that you can fix as well. Just keep in mind that that may have happened in your kit, and it is an easy fix as long as you have the tool. I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. Now, to fix this, what I'm using is a T25 socket in my socket adapter for my ratchet. The easy thing to do here is just you have to loosen and remove all of the screws and then switch my clamps over. With the screw fully removed from the clamp, hold your bar and slide it outward. Now you can see on the bar where there is a slot cut into it so that you can adjust this outer clamp. However, I did find, like I said, that the clamps for the front bar were installed on the rear. You can see here that that does say rear. So it's just going to be a couple minutes to swap these clamps over and get everything ready to go. Now this situation is going to be something that's going to be very easy to remedy. It's just going to take me probably an extra 5 minutes to swap these clamps over.
By exchanging the brackets one at a time, I was able to regain the correct orientation of the crossbars. However, on the brackets, unlike on the retention clips, the actual retention system is only made out of plastic. I believe that the screws are only intended to go into the plastic once, as reusing them did slightly wallow out the hole. I was able to remedy this situation for the time being with some heat shrink around the screw to make it a little more secure.
Okay, and now with that corrected, let's go ahead and try this again. Make sure that the orientation for the clamps does say forward. This is my front crossbar. Let's go ahead and try and put it on. Alright, now that I've got that corrected, it actually fits the space that it's meant to. I'm going to leave this just sitting here right now, but I am going to turn the screw in just a little bit, just so that it doesn't come off of the vehicle unexpectedly for any reason. Now that one side is snug, let's go ahead and grab the rear one.
With the rear crossbar offered up to the roof rail system, it was time to slide it in place and snug up the left rear retention bolt, then snug up the right rear retention bolt, and finally snug up the right front retention bolt. With both crossbars installed on the vehicle loosely, it was time to fine-tune the installation. For this, the instructions show that you should have a minimum of 7.5 inches clearance from the rear of the roof rail to the beginning of the crossbar. I set the distance of my rear crossbar at 8 inches. That gave me a bit above the minimum spec that was required, while leaving me a bit of additional room in case I had to go back further. Per the instructions, the front crossbars are to be set at a minimum distance of 13.5 inches. I chose 14 inches. Again, it is just a bit above specification, while leaving me some room for adjustment. Once I had my placement fine-tuned and adjusted, I went around the vehicle and used the installation torque tool to torque to the value of 8 Newton meters. Since I had to exchange the brackets on my crossbars due to an improper installation from the factory, these screws were still loose. I did have to make sure to tighten these before the final step of installing the cover caps. The final step in the instructions is to install the cap covers. The cap covers do have tails that are molded to the end of those, and those tails correspond to holes in brackets on the crossbars. The tails are there simply so that when you have the cap covers removed, that they remain with the crossbars. You may experience an issue, as I did, with the tails not wanting to slide into the brackets. These tails can be cut off, as there are other tabs that secure the cap covers, but take your time and try and fit it as best as possible.
And once you have all of those steps completed, the last thing to do would just be visually go around, make sure all of your bolts and screws are tight, give it a quick little jostle, make sure nothing is loose, and now you have crossbars installed on your 2020 Ford Escape. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, New Yankee Does It. You can check out all of our other videos that we have from New Yankee Auto Systems, New Yankee Homework, and New Yankee Projects. For now though, I'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye!